Now we
You
are
got it?
recording. So we host our Zoom calls every other Sunday night, and we don't let them go over an hour. They're anywhere between a half an hour and an hour. And I always try to post the recording, but as you can see, sometimes it gets tricky, and I can't get a chance to. So we are so excited to have the fabulous Nicole Baker, who is one of my dearest friends, talking to us tonight about Shakeology. Nicole is a diamond coach, and she has been coaching for 2 years, about. And she is the reason she signed on to be a coach really was for Shakeology, and she's going to get into that with all of us. And she's a Success Club 10 All Star, and she's pretty much one of the most amazing people I know, and probably the cleanest eater I know. So if she gives Shakeology her stamp of approval, you know it's good stuff. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to say and share with us tonight, and I will let her take it from here.
Perfect. Thank you, Jess. And congrats to all of you marathoners and runners today. Jess and Tammy are the ones I see on the call so far. So if you haven't muted yourself, if you can mute yourself, because I hear some background noise, I don't think you can go in and mute people. And that's just mainly for the recording, so that there's not a lot of stuff in the background. So perfect. All right. So yes, Shakeology. So as I was explaining while Jess was signing in, one thing, when we were at Summit this past summer, a variety of us that were at Summit, Jess had asked us what topic we would like to speak on. And I, of course, chose Shakeology. And each day we had different presentations. And one day they had a variety of speakers that were speaking on Shakeology. They had a slideshow and a presentation. So some of the stuff that I'm sharing here is stuff that they had shared. Others is stuff that I had come up with questions, and I kind of want to make this interactive. I'm going to try to go through, I have a lot of slides, so I'm going to try to go through them fairly quickly so we can leave questions at the end. So Jess, if we're getting to a certain time, can you go ahead and stop me? 2? So, and I just have like 4 faces on here, but I can see, who can I see? I can see Christy, Jess, and Margot. Okay. All right, so Shakeology, leading with health. And I think one question that I was reading some personal development the other day, and I actually posted this on my Facebook timeline. When asking people what their goals are, are you asking them, do they want to lose weight or do they want to get healthier? Because a lot of people actually come into our business wanting to lose weight, but don't really think about, they want to make like a quick change, like losing 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. But I think Shakeology fits into for those people that actually want to be healthier. People actually do want to be healthier. It's just helping them change their mindset. And I believe Shakeology, well, I know Shakeology is the tool. It's actually the nutrition part of our program. And that's the importance of getting a challenge pack or having people sign up with a challenge pack, because Shakeology is offered actually at the fitness program is actually offered at a lower price, and Shakeology is part of that. So what I wanted to start with today is just to have you rate your Shakeology knowledge. So I know we get a lot of questions in the groups as far as about Shakeology, about vegan Shakeology, what's in Shakeology, why does it help? Some people I know, even coaches, just drink it because they feel good or they want to drink it. So I came up with a little guide to just kind of rate your own Shakeology knowledge as far as getting started with our presentation today, to kind of rate where you are currently at. So I did on a scale of 1 to 5. So 1, let's see, I can't even read what I want. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'm trying to move the screen around so I can read what I wrote. Because, okay, 1, I drink it daily and I know it's healthy for me. You can rate yourself a 2. I drink it daily and I know that it contains superfoods and protein. 3, I'm an ingredient detective and actually joined as a coach because of Shakeology and its ingredients. 4, I have done personal development, we'll talk more about that, to learn more about Shakeology, have benefited from it personally, and have shared my Shakeology story. And 5, I know Shakeology is better than any other shakes. I learn more about Shakeology daily, share it in my groups 2 to 3 times a week, share my Shakeology story, I drink it, my family drinks it, and I've written blog posts on it. That just kind of went to a little extreme there. So if you guys just want to take a moment and just show on a scale of 1 through 5 with your fingers in the screen, like kind of where you're at as far as Shakeology. I see some 4s, 2s. Okay, perfect. And you can write that down. And one thing I would challenge you too is to think about where you would like to be in terms of your knowledge of Shakeology. And mind you, we are coaches, we're not nutritionists, we're not dietitians, so we don't have to know everything about it. And I'll talk about that here later on the call. So hang tight with me. I'm gonna have to take away all the video. So, okay. So why Shakeology was created? Shakeology was created for people, all of us actually, that are eating the standard American diet, who are nutritionally deprived, overweight, and undernourished, have poor nutrition habits that lead to chronic disease, need to eat healthier, but it's hard to find high quality foods with sufficient micronutrients, lack eating fresh food. A lot of people eat, especially when you're on the go, eat a lot of processed foods. As we know, that's what we coach on. And it was created because we're truly running our bodies empty. We're empty of high quality nutrients. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out where, I just don't want to see myself. I like to see the video. So Shakeology was created for a variety of reasons. And for those of you that follow Darren Aline and have the book Super Life, or have read the book Super Life, if you haven't, I highly recommend it. It goes through a lot of this stuff. And it truly helps you figure out what your body needs or what the importance of Shakeology is, even though the book doesn't talk a lot about Shakeology, but it definitely covers why our bodies are undernourished, and it creates that connection with why Shakeology is a good meal on the go, and it is one of the healthiest meals of the day. So how Shakeology works for your health. It delivers some of the greatest nutrient-rich foods in the world. It is designed for optimal health. As you know, Darren Aline travels around the world finding superfoods, I can't speak today evidently, and herbs, and they are combined. They're actually combined in the laboratory for the most effective health results for your body. So for example, when I first started finding out more about Shakeology, I actually was creating my own superfood shake. So I was buying all of the stuff to go into my shake. I was actually using Vega protein or another superfood raw protein. I probably tried like 4 or 5 different vegan proteins. And when I saw Shakeology, I was like, oh wow, this has a lot of really good ingredients in it. Look at all the superfoods. I'm probably putting 4 or 5 of my own superfoods already into the shake, and it usually tastes like crap. But I drink it because I know it's healthy for me. So when Shakeology came out with the vegan version, that's when I actually signed up to be a coach with Jessica, and never looked back. So I've been drinking vegan Shakeology. They made a variety of changes along the way. But to think, like, if you were to compare Shakeology to another shake, all of the superfoods are actually sourced from a variety of different countries, and Darren, or his team, but I'm pretty sure it's Darren, actually goes to the countries to make sure that the farmers are treated ethically. I'm sure many of you had seen the videos that the soil that the superfoods are grown in is actually healthy, like a high quality soil. So that's another reason why they go around to different countries to look at that as well and get the best superfoods. So that's actually for health results. It's not for weight loss results. It's for overall health results. So that's what I want to get into your mind today. It's for health. It's not just for weight loss. Weight loss is a result of drinking it for most people, but it's for overall health. It does help reduce cravings, and that's because you are nourishing your body with real foods. So you're receiving both micro and macronutrients. Macronutrients being protein, carbohydrates, and fat. But with all of the superfoods in there, there's a variety of micronutrients, which are those that help your body fight off disease to keep you nourished. Shakeology also improves digestion and nutrient absorption. Again, another result of that is weight loss. And it contains probiotics, and digestive enzymes, which a lot of other shakes do not. One thing to note with Shakeology is that although it's not labeled raw, the ingredients aren't processed over a high heat, because processing foods at high heat actually takes the nutrient levels out of them. So that's a reason why, 1, you should not bake with your Shakeology or heat it. And then 2, you do need to drink it within 30 minutes, because once the water hits Shakeology, that's when the probiotics and digestive enzymes are most active, more so the probiotics. It helps increase energy. So it contains adaptogenic herbs. And all of this stuff is on the back of the bag, as well as some of the tools in the marketing area too, so you can find that. But adaptogenic herbs are those that help the body adapt to stress. And also the the herbs that are in there increase nutrient absorption, so your body can use the energy you are consuming, not the herbs, but that's why it helps increase energy. It also helps create a healthy immune system. So superfoods and vitamins protect antioxidants that help fight free radicals and keep you healthy. One thing I think, since I've been drinking Shakeology for over 2 years, I don't remember the last time I had a cold, and I'm rarely sick too. So I think that's something that has helped too, along with eating healthy and exercise, but everything is connected. And I firmly believe that for me, Shakeology has been a huge benefit to that. And then the one that I always share last with people is that it helps build lean muscle and reduces cravings. The cravings one is huge, but I don't usually say it's a protein shake. I say it's an all-natural superfood shake, because it definitely isn't a protein shake. I had a couple of people actually message me recently, and they're like, wow, this shake has a lot of carbs and sugar. And I'm like, actually, it doesn't. But if you're comparing it to a regular GNC whey shake, of course it does. But what micronutrients are in your whey shake? None. It's like comparing chicken breast to kale. That's actually what I told someone. So one thing that comes up, and I'm going to talk about how Shakeology specifically affects your business, but I want to kind of ask you, why are you sharing Shakeology? Why are you sharing challenge packs? In all honesty, if you look at, for example, the 21-day fix program, people see results if they're following the nutrition program. So nutrition, as we share in our groups, as I share in a lot of my groups, is about 70 to 80% of your results. So I know a lot of times we focus on fitness and getting in our workouts, but truly we should be focusing about 80%, 70 to 80% of our focus on our food, and Shakeology makes that a lot simpler for us. The reason I asked, do you want to lose weight or do you want to be healthy at the beginning of the call, or something to ask some of your potential challengers or your challengers, is that, being healthy does last more than 21, 30, and 90 days. I mean, you can lose weight in 21, 30, and 90 days, but if you don't keep up with your healthy habits, you're going to gain that weight back. So that's something to kind of instill in the minds of your challengers too, and Shakeology does help with that. No matter, my thought process is, no matter how healthy someone eats, you can always eat healthier or upgrade it, and you definitely don't want to exclude different food groups from your healthy eating. I was actually talking to my naturopathist about this last Monday. It's not healthy to exclude certain food groups, but you can always eat healthier. You can always upgrade your foods. And I definitely think if you're eating Shakeology, that's not the only health thing that you should be eating a day. You shouldn't eat junk all day and say, well, I'm drinking my Shakeology, so that's going to help. Not true. Shakeology is just support in addition to that. One thing, when I went to go see Darren Aline in person when he was in Minnesota, crush, I don't think Jordan heard that. He had explained that he actually used an apple, but on there I wrote, an orange is not an orange with the current farming and soil depletion. He talked about one apple has different nutrients than another apple. And it's truly hard to gauge what's in our food nowadays, is basically what he was saying. With different farming and soil depletion, all the nutrients have been depleted from the soil, depending upon where an apple or orange or your crops or anything is farmed. So Shakeology can definitely help with that, and that's a reason why they're always sourcing and changing up the formulas, is because if one ingredient isn't fitting their high standards or quality, they're looking for another ingredient or another location where they can source the ingredients that do go into Shakeology. So that's something that I've been on a couple of calls and I thought was pretty neat. And I think he shares that in Super Life too. Why share Shakeology? Well, obviously it gives customers a daily dose of dense nutrition for their bodies. And one thing I also like to share with coaches especially, to share a lot about it in the group, stop being salesy, but if they're drinking their Shakeology every day, it's a daily reminder of what they're doing for their health, what they're doing for their body, and to stay engaged in the group too. So I'll share some things as far as creating fun activities around it to get people actually engaged and interested in their health. One thing that I like to share is that health is an investment that always produces dividends, and those dividends are your life. So it is worth the $4 a day or the $130 a month, or as coaches what we pay, around $100 a month. It's not a quick fix or a diet fad. So Shakeology in your business. One second. I don't like having being able to see people. Okay. I'm going really fast. Do we have any questions at all at this point? It feels weird to talk to myself.
Nicole, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I don't know a ton about nutrition, and I have now 2 or 3 times gotten from people that response of there's a lot of carbs and sugar in it, and I felt really dumb because I didn't know how to respond. And I get it that they're not the same, but what would be a good response, or what is something that I can talk about?
I always usually ask, and I'm not an expert in nutrition either way, so if anyone does have a good response, they can share. But when, for example, I had someone that had sent me a note, and she had had gastric bypass surgery, and she was looking at Shakeology. She's like, well, there's a lot of really good ingredients in here, but it's way more carbs and sugars than in my protein shake. So what I asked her, I'm like, well, what protein shake are you drinking? I'm like, this is actually a meal replacement, so it's like eating a full meal depending upon what you put into it. So you can't really compare apples to oranges, and that's where I brought up, you can't compare a chicken breast to kale. Chicken has pretty much protein. There's no carbs, and I mean there can be some fat in it, but kale has protein, carbs, fat, and a variety of micronutrients which help your body fight off disease. You're getting your bang for your buck by eating kale. And that's the importance of having greens and vegetables too in your diet. So what I shared with her, I tried to share some information to just get them to think about it from a different angle. But I also don't like people counting calories or counting carbs or looking at sugar, because honestly, a lot of those people, not all of them, but some of them are either, how do I want to say this? They just want to find something wrong with something instead of looking at everything that's right. And then there's those people that want to criticize something, and not just Shakeology, want to criticize something, but they'll be the first ones that'll go out and have like a Snickers bar or go out drinking or binge eating or crap food for like the weekend. So it's like, well, we're looking to see where they're coming from, kind of understanding where they're at in their journey and their goals. And maybe they do have a medical reason. And if they do have a medical reason, just send them the link. What I usually do is send them to link to my Shakeology page and have them print off the PDF of ingredients and share that with their doctor. Because some people do. Yeah. And if they have food allergies too. I don't know. Was that helpful?
Yeah, no, and I think you're right. I think both of them were looking for an excuse to not drink it. I mean, because both of them were like, oh, that's just way too many carbs and sugars for me in a day. And I was like, I don't
needs
know.
Carbs. Your body needs carbs.
Well, and that was my response. I said, well, you need carbs. You're a runner. You're, you bike a ton, but I don't know. I think she was more looking for an excuse. So.
So then, just ask like curious questions. Be like, well, I'm curious. What do you usually have for breakfast, or what do you usually have for lunch? What do you usually have for dinner? And if they say, well, I usually have like a pita salad. Well, there you go. That's way more carbs than Shakeology.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Just get curious. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful.
I would say too, Nicole, that I usually tell people to look beyond just the nutritional facts and look at the ingredient list too. Because I think it's really easy to be like, oh my gosh, it's got 7 grams of sugar. And that's like where they stop. Like they're looking at grams of sugar, calories, grams of protein, because they think it's a protein shake. And you need to look at the, compare your ingredient list to our ingredient list. I'd rather have 7 grams of sugar to not have artificial sweeteners and a bunch of other garbage, So I'd be like, I'm curious, what their protein shake is, and have you looked at the ingredient list? Have you compared them? I don't know if that helps at all, but.
Yeah. To look at the actual ingredients in it. And I know some people that criticize like what's in Shakeology also drink like a liter of Diet Coke a day. It's like, okay, that has 0 calories, but also has a hell of a lot of chemicals in it. So, our job is not to sell people on it. Our job is to just share what we know and how it's helped with us. And I'll get that too, because we don't have to be experts. And it's good to be knowledgeable about it, but we're not doctors, we're not nutritionists, so we don't have to be experts, but we want to know our why too. And I'll share that too, like having your own story. So those are all great, great questions too. And maybe we can start like a comment thread about different things that we've shared, just helpful, or maybe like a sheet in the file section too, just different to overcome objections, or maybe even curious questions like the lunch, dinner, breakfast one. So Shakeology in your business. So there's a variety of reasons why Shakeology is tied to your business too. So we want to look at it from the nutrition aspect, but if you're also looking to grow your business, you want to look at it from the business aspect as well. So it helps you achieve Success Club. You can get for the new coaches, you can get one Success Club for every Shakeology order of HD, which means home delivery you sell. It helps for rank advancement because you have to, in order to advance, for rank advancement, sorry, I'm not phrasing this correctly, I would have to, for me to rank advance, and keep my rank, I have to have an HD order in my business. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I have to have that in order to, I see Jess.
What's your diamond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put so many PV and you have to have that in order to rank advance. But
so
also,
if you're not diamond yet, you don't need to stress about it, but eventually, once you're diamond, you'll want to have an HD order of Shakeology, but the nice thing is once you're diamond, you're not going to be as concerned about the financial investment. I know when I first started, I was like, I can't afford to get it every month, so then you begin to realize to be a product of the product, and
number 2,
and then you're also making more income. So anyways, I'll let you talk.
No, thank you. So commissions, you also get commission. So if you want to get your Shakeology paid for, if you have 3 people that are ordering Shakeology a month from you, then basically your Shakeology is paid for as well. But they're also getting the benefits of good health. So I never look at it from a commission standpoint. I'm like, oh, wow, they're continuing on, and we'll talk about following up with your customers here shortly too. Different rewards. I took that from the Shakeology slideshow, so I didn't look into that. Helps with your volume. So if you're a coach and you're growing your team, if your coaches are drinking Shakeology, that helps with your volume, but also if your customers are drinking Shakeology, that helps with your volume for Team Cycle Bonus as well. Helps with good health, your fitness results, and that daily health focus for you as well as your customers. So like Jess had shared, be a product of the product. So Shakeology is actually tied to everything in our business as far as monetarily and our health and our fitness. So what's your Shakeology story? And one thing that you don't have to do today, and I'll go through these questions quickly, and I will share the slideshow so you can go through some of these questions on your own. But one thing that I found important for me, and I know many of you have shared your Shakeology story in a variety of different ways, is actually if you are getting a lot of objections to Shakeology, what is your Shakeology story? You don't have to have lost like 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. You don't have to have an extravagant story. But it's important to share why you like it and enjoy it, because people aren't really connected to the product. They want to know, just like the workout programs, why you enjoy it. So some questions that I wrote down, why do you drink it? What were your hesitations? Jess had shared some of her hesitations with the cost when she first had started. And I know that's a huge one, is the cost for people. What positive changes have you noticed? Do a little brainstorm. And I'll be honest, like when I first started drinking it for the first 30 days, this is how I wasn't connecting everything. I was like, oh, wow, my hair is I'm having baby hairs come up and my hair is growing super fast and my nails are going even faster than normal. And wow, my skin is clear. And I actually had to stop and be like, oh, I've been drinking Shakeology for 30, 60 days. I'm like, that's why. And I actually had, which really sucked, about a year ago, I found out that I had a variety of more food allergies, which I'm actually working on with my naturopath. And I actually had to go off Shakeology for 3 months, and it sucked because my face totally broke out again and I wasn't feeling the best. So it's something that I know it's helped me in a variety of ways. And by going off of it, it's because I was allergic to amaranth, and they actually took it out now. So that's a plus. But that was part of my story. And I know when I first did my diamond training, I did a video on why Shakeology, or actually what I did for breakfast, which I need to refresh. So it could be something that you do a video, or maybe you write up a post to share in your challenge groups to start, but creating your story. So how does it help you commit to your health journey? What's your favorite recipe? Have you done a video or blog post on it? And what made you keep drinking it? So why are you drinking it, besides the fact that you're running challenge groups and you have to? I mean, that's really not a good enough excuse, because if you're going to be investing it for your health, you have to have your own why as well. So the next question that I actually didn't even start thinking about it until like probably earlier this year. You know, I would share Shakeology in my groups, but not a lot because I figured they were already drinking it. So why would they need to know anything else, you know? So think about, you know, how often do you share Shakeology? And one thing I like to do now in my challenge groups is I share about it at least 2 to 3 times a week, and not in a salesy way, like, oh my gosh, are you drinking your Shakeology? I like to go about it by sharing my favorite recipe and asking my challengers their favorite recipe. I like to share Shakeology videos, but I don't just share, hey, this is a really cool video. I share, you know, what stands out about this video, and I share a little story. Like the one that's my favorite is the Darren Aline. I don't even know if I say his last name right. I should. He's my boyfriend, but um, so one of my favorites is when he's traveling to other countries. So I bring up the fact that I've traveled to a lot of countries, and when I would travel to other countries, I was always really curious about what they were eating. And the fact that I spoke Spanish made it easier to ask them. But that's something, a small story that relates back to me, sharing in my challenge group. So it's not just sharing a video for sharing a video, because honestly, I like to know people's stories and connect with them more and their reason why drinking it. You can share articles, and I'll share some files in Team on the Run that were shared at Summit, so that you can share some articles or some of the, I think there's one that's called the top 5 blog posts. I'll share that. Is that okay, Jess? I share that in Team on the Run. And then sharing your story, have a recipe contest, share about the benefits, talk about superfoods, but don't just, I know some of the challenge guides say, hey, here's moringa, and this is what it does. Maybe ask a curious question about it, so that you start a conversation so people connect with it and not just see that picture of moringa and be like, oh, cool, that's in my shake, but what the H is that? So creating that personal connection. Other ways to share Shakeology. I've seen some people do a video of them making it, you know, how simple it is. Check in weekly, personally, with your challengers to see how it's working for them. I like to check in with my challengers at least once or twice a week. Honestly, I usually do it on Wednesdays or Fridays, and I have that as a part of my power hour. See how things are going, and I always ask, you know, what do you think of Shakeology? Do you have any favorite recipes? So even though I'm already asking that in the group, I'm sending a personal message to them too, because maybe they're trying it and they don't want to say they hate it in the group, though some people do. Then you know you can help guide them and see how they can make it better, because some people just don't know how to mix it, or just they use a knife. They just dump it in a cup and they use the knife to mix it up and don't use a shaker cup or something. So, or they don't put water in it and they mix it funny. I mean, I've heard stories. So
Alyssa had someone who didn't put water in it.
yes, I think, yeah.
There's ice and the shake. And she's like, I don't understand. You said to add it with ice.
So sometimes you want to be clear, but Tony Horton has a lot of really cool, funny Shakeology videos. You can even search for those on YouTube too. And there's a variety of them, but I like Tony Horton's humor, so I'll share those, even if it's not a Tony Horton group.
He got married this weekend, Nicole. Did you know that?
Oh, he did?
Yes. I tried to post a picture on the run, but the attachment wouldn't open for you guys.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I know his girlfriend was in the P90X3. She was in the Pilates video.
Gorgeous.
She is, yeah. I was surprised she got married. I thought they were going to be engaged forever. Anyway, like we know him. So do a video of you making it. I know some of you have done that, which is awesome. Let's see, weekly or monthly newsletter to current customers with recipes. So one thing to keep people engaged, it's something I've been trying to do, is send out a weekly, or not necessarily weekly, but maybe a monthly or bi-weekly newsletter or an email to those people. And I use MailChimp, which is a free service provider. I use it for Beachbody and I use it for my Naturalita business. So I have 2 separate lists, but I just actually, so I don't really have to create a recipe, I just go out to the Team Beachbody blog, copy a recipe, put the picture in there and send it out. And that just keeps it fresh in people's mind. And then if they do want to reorder, say they put it on hold, then you can share the link in that newsletter so they don't have to message you or go out to the Beachbody website or Amazon or somewhere and buy it. So it just keeps that fresh in their mind. And then coach a 5 to 7 day Shakeology group. Alyssa had mentioned that on the last call. She does that. That could be something where you have the sample, your individual packets, and send out, or you could have them order from your website and get the sampler pack too. So do you guys have any ideas of what's worked for you to share Shakeology? I'm curious to see what's been working for you guys. Don't everyone jump on. Megan?
I feel like
Oh,
for
I
me,
can see. I can see you, Megan.
sorry. I feel like for me, the best one is the sweet tooth curbing.
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, that was like the biggest one for me. And when I tell people, nobody ever believes me, and then they try it and they're like, holy crap. I mean, that's like my number one seller is that it's going to kick your sweet tooth. And I always sell it as like, when people say like, can I try it without Shakeology? And I'm like, honestly, no. For 30 days, you need to use the Shakeology. You need to kick all your bad habits. You need to, like kick your sweet tooth, kick your bad, snacking, and then tell me how you feel. And
Love
that's
that.
how
Yeah. Honestly, no.
I do. I say I need you to do this for 30 days. I say if you want to be successful, try it, and then we'll talk. So
Yeah. Good. I like that. Thanks, Megan.
I shared a video just of me talking about it in one of my groups, and I think that was a lot more powerful than just typing about it because they hear my enthusiasm about it. And I didn't script it out. I just totally just got on and started talking, and a couple people ordered after I posted it, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, I love that because then they're connecting to you and they can tell in your voice, and it is different than typing.
And that was in a free 5-day clean eating group, so it was with people that
oh wow,
yeah. So I just did it towards the end of the group, so they'd already kind of met me, and they're people that I know mostly, but some people they were not interested at all in the beginning, so that the video really helped.
Good. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Kate. I love that. Anyone else? We can have people share in the comments. Jess, go ahead.
I could talk about really quickly what I've done that has not worked well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is posting when I first started, posting a picture of me with my shaker cup, which I still do sometimes, don't get me wrong. But what I've changed is instead of saying my Shakeology sure tastes good after my workout. Are you interested? Here's my link. No. People, it seems salesy. No. I always think of what they said at the summit workshop on Shakeology was to ask yourself, so what? So what? Why does anybody, if they just think it's a protein shake, they don't care. It seems salesy. But posting something that is going to draw their curiosity, I know Megan's posted some cool recipes, or posting it and not even necessarily saying what it is. Check out my breakfast, as yours have 70 superfoods, a whole cup of spinach, etc., etc., etc. in it, and then people are like, what is that? What is that in your cup? That for me has worked much better than I just ran 10 miles and now I am drinking my superfood smoothie Shakeology.
Scroll.
With Shakeology on the side. And that's it. No, nobody cares. So what? They're going to keep scrolling. So it needs to be something that's going to catch people's attention and that feels like you, that doesn't feel like an infomercial. So I think that my sharing about Shakeology has definitely changed in the fact that I'm more genuine to what do I love about it? So what? So why should people care? Why should people care about the shake that I'm drinking? Rather than just sell the shake, because we all know there's a lot of our competitors out there who that's all they do. Now I'm drinking my detox shake. Now I'm drinking my pumpkin spice chemical shake. So I don't know. That makes sense. But ask yourself, so what? What are people going to want to know? Intrigue them with your post.
That brought up something too. It's even because usually when we post about our Shakeology, if you look at who likes it, it's all Beachbody coaches. So post something that would intrigue the other Beachbody coaches, where they'll be like, "Hey, what is she drinking now?" It's just Shakeology, but I'm being super fun and curious. So
if 30 Beachbody coaches like it, so what? That means that it's showing up in more people's feeds, and that someone may private message you. So. Just because it's not getting love from the general public, that's okay. Right, Nicole?
Yeah. Well, no, my point was, it's good for the Beachbody coaches to like it, but make them curious what you're drinking too. Yes. So that they're not liking it just because it's Shakeology. They're liking it because, oh, wow, that's curious.
Exactly. You're right.
Is she drinking? What is that recipe?
What is that?
Making everyone curious, not just to share about Shakeology.
And Jess, just to follow up what you said, Tammy and I ran a 30-day just Shakeology group, And I purposefully for a full 7 days posted different shake recipes, and I was like, oh, breakfast this morning, chocolate peanut butter cup or whatever. I purposely for 7 days did it, and nobody was liking them, but I was like, I'm just gonna do this and see what happens. I mean, like, coaches were liking them. And at the end of the 7 days, I was like, okay, who wants to do a Shakeology group? And I got like 6 or 7 new people to order Shakeology. And they had not liked a single post. They were completely out of the blue. They were like, I've been watching your recipes. I want in. So I think you're right. Like, that whole people may be watching and not telling you. And Tammy and I ran that group, and it was so much fun. I mean, it was really cool. So.
Cool. No, that's another good little success thing too. So even if they aren't liking that, people are still creeping in on you. So good. Awesome. Let's flip through here. Okay. So get to know your customers' needs. Some questions that I like to ask, because I know a lot of you ask this too when you're messaging people, is, what are your current health goals and or frustrations? How long have you been wanting to make this change? Why do you want to make this change? What have you tried in the past? What worked? What didn't work? So you don't really want to start sharing, and we've talked about this a lot in other areas, but you don't really want to start sharing about Shakeology or a fitness program right away. You want to ask like where they're currently at and what are their health goals, so that you can tailor what we have to offer genuinely and authentically to what's going to help them. They don't want to hear that it's on sale for this, right? Some people might, but the majority of people, if they don't know you, they don't really know anything about the program, but they're really, really frustrated in where they're currently at. To get to know, to put yourself into their shoes, it's important to ask these questions first. You don't have to write a whole script. You could just, like, for example, like when I have someone from my like page, I'll be like, hey, it's so great to connect. Thank you for connecting with me more personally. I would love to know a little bit more about you. What are your current health goals and or frustrations? And then I look forward to hearing from her. Sometimes I just leave it at that and just keep it simple. That way you're not scaring them off and you're not overwhelming them with questions, which I can be good at doing. So any of these questions are helpful, but you want them to be open to sharing a little bit more about you. And after they do share, I usually say, I truly appreciate you sharing this with me. I know it can be a little awkward at times sharing with someone that you don't really know, but I can relate to you by X, Y, Z or something like that. So always listen first. Who to look for and who would benefit. Basically everyone would benefit. If you have Beachbody customers that might have joined without a challenge pack, or maybe they're continuing on but they don't have Shakeology, if you are doing the newsletter or following up with people, just share that, ask them how they're doing, just keep checking in with people that even aren't drinking Shakeology that were past customers, because they can definitely maximize their results if they're not currently using Shakeology. Older active adults, increase energy levels, help keep them healthier to stay active. I know both of my parents are over 55. They drink Shakeology. So I think everyone should. So busy parents, as many of you know, share your why. Why do you drink it? Quick and convenient for extra energy and complete nutrition. Busy professionals and college students, even high school students, quick, convenient, and healthier than other on-the-go options. I know I should have had this in college, because every day for college for lunch, I spent probably like $8 on a college thing. I would have the cream, I can't eat any of this now, cream of wild rice soup and a cream cheese muffin for like lunch, like every day at the UWEC little soup bar. I look back, I'm like, that was a good lunch, but that was not healthy at all. There was no veggies in that one. So college students too. I mean, they're on a meal plan, but this is a way to, even Darren Aline had shared that. He's like, I think college students should have Shakeology. I'm like, yes. So other benefits, fruit and veggie haters, I mean, you can read through that. Breakfast skippers. One post that I like to share too, one post that I need to share again actually is, hey ladies, what do your husbands eat for breakfast? Do they drink energy drinks and that? Because I can walk around town in Bremerton here, Navy Town, predominantly males, and see Monster energy drink and cans and everywhere, and Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew I saw on the ferry has like a high something, like a boost, like a caffeine boost Mountain Dew something can. I was like, what? there was this girl, and of course she got off the ferry and she was drinking that. Her boyfriend was drinking that, and they were both smoking cigarettes off the ferry. I'm like, oh my God, I need to help you, but how do I talk to you when you're like running away from me? How do you bring it up? But that's a good question. You know, a lot of people that drink Monster energy drinks maybe say, hey, if you know people that do, you know, ask if they would want to replace that for 30 days. Shakeology personal development. You know, we're getting close to the end on time here. One thing that they brought up at Summit is that just as you do personal development for yourself, you should focus on at least 5 minutes of Shakeology personal development a day, or 20 to 30 minutes a week. And I think it's important, and it's important to educate yourself on it. If you're going to be drinking it every day, you should know the benefits. I mean, you're going to get a lot of questions. It's just, if you were going to be a car salesman, you would want to know everything about that car. You don't have to be an expert or the mechanic or the person that created that car, but you want to be able to answer questions. And you also want to be able to say why you like that car. So same with Shakeology. Shakeology has, well, Super Life is a book by Darren Aline. There's the Shakeology podcast, which I think is just once a month. I think it was under 10 minutes actually. Let's see, if you search the Coach Online Office for Shakeology tools, there is a lot of tools. I actually, for this, I printed off this whole little sheet. It's like 8 pages or something with a lot of information. Every month you get this little book in your Shakeology box, so that's something to just share and flip through. Shakeology actually has, it's on every social media, so maybe find, you know, them on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest, and don't repost them. Say, hey, look at this. Look at what they posted and reframe it in your own words and post it on your page. Or post it, and maybe start posting in challenge groups to educate people, but in your own words, not just forwarding from that page, because we don't want to promote them. We want to have people connect to us. So finding and following them on all the different social media, or the ones that you use, so it's not overwhelming, but taking that and repurposing it. And then watching videos on YouTube as well. You can search for, I like to go to the actual Shakeology YouTube channel, or Team Beachbody or Beachbody, so I'm not sharing another coach's YouTube video of it. So you can go to those and just save them maybe in a Shakeology Google Doc, so that you can write a post about that and save them in your challenge groups too. Customer follow-up, I mentioned that a little bit, that I do it at least once a week with my challengers, and I always ask about Shakeology. So think about, you know, how often are you following up with your challengers about Shakeology specifically? You want to follow up how they're doing on their fitness journey, healthy eating, and Shakeology. So not just checking in, hey, how's it going? Or just things since they're in the group. People really like when you follow up with them personally. Asking why they like it. Maybe they don't like it, but maybe you can, again, help them find a recipe that they do like. Ask for their favorite recipe or flavors. Ask when they drink it. Just start that conversation with them. So usually in the first week is usually a good time to do it. And then following up, and then also maybe, you know, toward the end of the challenge to see before it automatically renews. And I post the Shakeology and BOD reminders in the group too, so that they have that, and usually send them a message on it. So my questions for you, and we can ask this in the group maybe when Just posts the video, you know, what are 1 to 2 takeaways and an action step that you will implement this week as far as sharing Shakeology, or maybe working on personal development, or anything that we've talked about today? And then what is one thing you want to learn more about for nutrition in general, or the nutrition in Shakeology? And then, as I had shared, you can follow Shakeology on social media and repurpose what they share. Just kind of jumped ahead on that one. So that's actually all that I have. I know we went through it quickly, but I would like to open it up. If you guys have any ideas on what's worked for you, I know some of you had shared thoughts, comments. Do you want to share your takeaways, or if you wanted to share out loud what your action step will be this week, now is kind of your chance to do so.
I have a question. I don't know if anybody knows.
Yeah.
I know that it hasn't been reviewed by the FDA. And is there any, like, is it going to be, or is there any steps, like, do you know anything about that?
I honestly, I don't know a lot about the FDA, but I don't think so, because it's a lot of shakes in that aren't regulated. It's hard to
Okay.
regulate those types of things, especially when a lot of the ingredients are from other countries too, but I don't think that's the kicker. I don't know a lot about the FDA. Does anyone else? I don't think it will.
Okay.
Good question though. That's something you can maybe search in the FAQs, but I don't know if they'll have like a good answer on it. Same with like the facility, like the gluten, like the different allergens from the plants where they make it. I know I get that question a lot. And what I do if I get the question as far as gluten sensitivity or food allergies or nut allergies, what I usually do, and I think a lot of us have shared this before, is I go to look it up in the FAQs, and those people that are asking, I send them the link so that they can research that themselves. And one thing, because I can't have gluten, is that when you do, you never know when it's processed in a factory, but it's like if you are going to be eating at a different restaurant, or even if you're eating in your own house, there's probably more contamination by getting gluten in your own house, if not everyone in the whole family is celiac, than going to like a manufacturer where they actually have regulations that they have to clean out all of the systems. But it still could be, there could be cross-contamination, but they probably do a more thorough job at that manufacturer than you do in your own house. So I always share that, but then I'm not the expert, so I don't want people to trust me on that. I send them the link too, because I don't know where people are at in that journey. I know where I am at personally.
I just want to add about the FDA.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Go ahead.
Well, I just tell people that if they have that question, why is it not approved by the FDA, things like that. And I kind of just throw out there that the FDA actually approves a lot of processed foods that we actually shouldn't be eating. So I kind of direct them in that way, saying that, well, you really shouldn't listen to everything the FDA has to say because they're not necessarily true in support of our health as well, because of all the processed foods they let pass through, you know, sending out to the grocery stores and things like that. So I've kind of thrown that out a couple of times, and a couple of people are like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. I made me think of that.
Yeah, and then I also have a friend who has celiac disease, and she's actually drinking Shakeology. She's really concerned about the cross-contamination, and she has to wipe tables down because she's a teacher at school, so she has to be very cautious with what she has to touch and stuff. So she actually started drinking Shakeology, and she hasn't had any problems with it thus far. So
good.
Go on that. Yeah.
Good. Thanks for sharing that, Sherry. That's helpful. That's a good point.
Nicole, it's Margot here.
Hey.
Hi, I have a quick question for you and everybody. I was in Autumn's Labor Day Fix program, and there was like, I don't know, thousands of people on it. So it came up one day, someone was concerned because they realized with the ginkgo levels in the Shakeology, she was on an antidepressant, that there was an alarming amount that you could fall into something called serotonin syndrome. Has anyone heard of this?
I haven't. Was
So,
there responses in there?
Oh yeah, there were a lot of responses. Yeah. And I think it's just something to be aware of. You know, I talked to actually my doctor because I've been on something, a low dose.
Yeah.
And I love Shakeology so much that I'm going to wean off of my antidepressant. But she's like, smart. Thanks for bringing that up. Yep. It's not something to mess around with.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. No, I didn't even think about that or see that. So that's good to know too. I think, is it in one of the boosts too?
Ginkgo?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the focused energy.
It just was something, obviously, I was glad that I saw it. And then just for myself, I mean, here's my story. I love Shakeology so much that
yeah,
I go off of it, and I feel so good on it that I want to go off of it. So I'm already weaning off of it.
Off of the medicine?
Yeah, my antidepressant. I've been on it a long time, and I really feel ready to. So it's but it's just good. Guys, it's just something to be aware of.
That's another, that's a good point of personal development and sharing. So one thing that you could do, Margot, too, when you see stuff like that is just share in the group, and the rest of you too, if you find things, as you go about, if you're finding it and sharing it, that's part of educating the group, just sharing what you're finding too, to see what other, and we get a lot of really good questions in Team on the Run, and there's a lot of support there, but that right there, Mara, I hadn't heard of. Yeah. And it's not that we're supposed to be experts, but it, like you did, you know, taking that information and talking to your doctor about it, just to creating awareness, but then making an educated decision for your own personal health too, which is exciting.
Well, it's just probably a good idea, just so people know that they look at the nutritional list and they make their own choice. So kind of reminding people to advocate for themselves too.
Yep. Yes. You've done a good job of that for a long time.
Lived and learned.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Not to scare everyone.
No, it's just that educating yourself too.
Yeah.
Anyone else? So what I'll do, there's some handouts that I found, as well as some that they shared at Summit that I'll share in Team on the Run, probably by tomorrow. I'll get them in there by tomorrow, and then I'll just put them in the file section so they'll be up there and fresh, so that you can find them there, maybe save them on your computer too. And then if you guys find anything that's helpful, you know, definitely share in the group as well. Anything else, Jess?
I don't have anything. That was super beneficial. I took notes, and I just always feel like Shakeology is something that I could be educating myself more on. And, you know I love it and I know a lot about it, but I could always know more. So thank you.
Me too. I think the podcast will be great too.
Me too.
Just helpful. The first one was nice and short and straightforward, and it's always, you know, about educating yourself. But then, you know, my thing is, if I'm going to be drinking something, you know, I want to know what's in it for my own health too. And do I know everything about it? No. I wouldn't rate myself a 5. So.
Sherry, I don't have any word on the podcast in Android, but my guess is that they will hopefully repost it on the Beachbody site too. Wouldn't you think? I don't know. I'll find out.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out too is if you're interested in learning more about nutrition, Darren, when I bought the book Super Life, I had the option, and I think I shared this in Team Shine too, you have the option to sign up for his newsletter. So he does, like, I don't know, Tammy may know if it's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly newsletter that just shares a lot of information about nutrition and things to be aware of. And it's written in layman's terms, so it's not in like super scientific terms. It's like average, like terms that I can understand and share easily too. And those are good to get posts from, to share in your challenge groups as well. So that's something that's free, and it could be part of maybe your nutrition personal development or your Shakeology personal development as well. Well, thank you all for all the good questions and all of the sharing. Nice to see all of your faces. I'll let Jess end the call.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole, and I will post the recording tomorrow, guys. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to tune in tonight, and I'll post the recording. We can start a thread with other questions or comments or things that popped in your head after the call about Shakeology. Okay? All right. Sounds good. Have a good night and have a great week. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
Bye,
Thanks.
ladies.
Bye.